I think this is the first time in making these videos where I really want to just sit here and let the game play out. I mean, seriously, check out this introduction. And Ultrabox keeps up this cutting edge for 1990 style for the entire thing. There is an absurd amount to unpack with Ultrabox, so let's get started. The first thing that you need to know is that Ultrabox is a magazine. Not a paper magazine, a CD-based magazine. Now, this wasn't an original idea. When I was going through the Famicom Disk System library, I showed all of Sunsoft's Nozzler Land, a disc-based magazine for the platform. And there were computer magazines distributed on floppy disk even before that. The idea was you'd get a few articles distributed in electronic format, along with some software. Victor Interactive came up with the idea behind Ultrabox, and while they did use it to promote their own media, they were pretty flexible with what else they allowed. Ultrabox was released quarterly, and there were 6 issues produced. Kind of. You see, one feature of Ultrabox proved to be so popular that when Ultrabox ended, that feature kept going and got 6 more issues. But I'll cover those a bit down the line. Now, I considered condensing all of the Ultrabox releases into a single video, but when I was going through them, I felt like every issue had enough content that it really needed its own video. So I'll be covering all of them separately. The main menu of Ultrabox is a wheel that goes around, and there's 14 different things you can do here. Pressing select when you're in any of the software returns you back to this main menu. You also get this kind of wild loading screen. If I had to pick one theme that all of this software had in common, it's, we have a scanner and we're gonna use it. Almost all the graphics that aren't part of a menu or the introduction are digitized pictures. It definitely makes Ultrabox feel unique. Now, rather than go around the main menu wheel in order, I'm going to clump similar things together. And we'll start with the magazine features. First up is the Help option, which just tells you how to interface with Ultrabox. Moving on to the actual features, we have got Hininaru Heroine, or Interesting Heroines. This section features profiles of starlets, and you can get a couple of pictures of them and some basic biographical data. And that includes this screen where you can poke at them to get their measurements. Next up is Hot Games, a non-interactive segment where it shows you previews of 3 upcoming games. There's Mitsubishi Gakuen, which is a Hudson game instead of a Victor Interactive game. Download, which was released just 1 week after Ultrabox, so that's 2 episodes in my future. Download is also a HuCard based game, so this voice-acted cutscene was produced just for Ultrabox. And Magical Saurus Tour, which is the sole Victor Interactive title in this list. John Box is the section where readers, or I guess players, could send in their own material. Even though this is the first issue, magazines still told you how you could send things in and potentially win some prizes, so there's a lot of stuff here. People sent in photographs. This one's supposed to have a UFO, but I can't see anything in it. And an absolutely enormous fan art gallery. It took me a full 10 minutes to scroll through all of the art in the gallery. Curiously, there's a lot of Dragon Quest fan art. You'd think they wouldn't include those, but I guess the power of Dragon Quest was just too great. There's also fan art of Space Fantasy Zone, the eventually cancelled game that would have mashed up Fantasy Zone with Space Harrier. I expect that people would find the fan art interesting enough that I decided to include the entire gallery at the end of this video. The final magazine-style feature is the PC Engine Software Encyclopedia 1990. And this one's actually a bit of a big deal. It is a database of all PC Engine games up to this point. In fact, even going beyond this point a little bit. They somehow gave a review score to games not even out yet. It has images from all of the games, the cover art, descriptions, and a capsule review. This section also features the editor's pick for the top 10 PC Engine games. Moving on, we've got the horoscope stuff. Alright, I know you want to know what the top 10 was. So, straight from the head office in Shibuya, Tokyo, Japan, here's the top 10 PC Engine games according to Ultra Box Issue 1. Number 10, Nectaris, the lunar-based wargame from Hudson. Number 9, Dragon Spirit, the port of Namco's popular arcade game. Number 8, Final Lap Twin, Namco's head-to-head F1 game that included an RPG. Number 7, Super Momotaro Dentetsu, a Sugoroku board game that has an enormous franchise. Number 6, Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair, the only appearance of Wonder Boy in his original form on the PC Engine, though far from the only Wonder Boy game on the platform. Number 5, Tengai Makyo Ziria, a multimedia extravaganza RPG that was the most expensive game ever produced when it was released, though by this point it might have been beaten by Wing Commander. Number 4, Super Volleyball, disastrously bad developer Micronic's only appearance on the PC Engine. Number 3, Kyukyoku Tiger, a very strong port of Toaplan's classic shoot-'em-up. Number 2, Gunhead, compiles shoot-'em-up masterpiece. And the number 1 PC Engine game, according to Ultrabox, is, of course, Ys 1 and 2. Like it could have been anything else. Okay, now we'll move on to the horoscopes. There are 2 horoscope programs here. First we have Akai Ito Check, or Red Thread Check. You pick out your star sign, you pick out the star sign of the person you love, and then Ultrabox will tell you if you're compatible. It's worth mentioning at this point that there's a lot of voices in Ultrabox. I'm not sure how many love fortunes there are, but it's not a small amount, and all of them are vocally described. The other horoscope program is Hoshi ni Negayo, or roughly, When You Wish Upon a Star. The topless guy is Rusher Kimura. He'd regularly appear on Japanese television with his shirt off and announcing dire predictions for his opponents in the wrestling ring. He was a professional wrestler, not an astrologer, and he had been active since the 60s, so he was one of the old guard for Japanese professional wrestling at that point. Next, we have the non-interactive stories. You just select these from the menu and watch them play out. You can't fast-forward them, so don't back out by pressing select if you want to see all the way to the end. The first story is Sekimatsu Gyakudama Kaiyun Umanushi Monopoly, or Apocalyptic Gold-Digging Lucky Racehorse Owner Monopoly. It's a comedy story about a jockey who's trying to marry his way into wealth. Next up is Bombtown Story, which is told in a silent film style. It's all about anthropomorphic crocodiles and their speakeasy in the 1920s. Finally, there's Jitsuyo Date Koza, or Practical Dating Advice. This might have been more appropriate to mention in the magazine feature, but the presentation is also kind of story-like, so I put it here. The idea is that you see the sights of Harajuku on a date. Now there is something special about this segment, and that's how it features the first full-motion video in any console game. Okay, things get a little bit complicated when we try to define full-motion video, but for me, it has to be digitized. It can't be an animation loop, in other words, not flipping back and forth between 2 images. And it has to show a progression of time, not just being a slideshow of unrelated still images. And in this case, having the extra disk space of the CD-ROM, and they could fill up that graphics memory with a bunch of single screen shots and cycle through them fast enough to have an illusion of motion. Not a very convincing one, but this is the principle of film. So I think this train pulling into a station is the first game FMV on a console. And now we're getting to the actual games that you can play on Ultrabox. And as you might have guessed, none of these are especially good. Okay, one of them I got some amusement out of, but the other three... We'll start off with Kamen Victor, or Masked Victor. This is a side-scrolling game where enemies come out in a constant stream, and you have your fist stuck out in front of you. And when enemies run into your fist, or foot if you're jumping, then they die. You have to kill a number of enemies to progress the game, but that number increases over time, so you have to be pretty aggressive to make progress. Kill enough enemies without getting hit by their shuriken, and then a boss will appear. You have to enter the Konami code at this point to transform into your superhero mode, but once you've done that, you fight them the same way that you fought the regular enemies. This one is pretty dull. It's barely a proof of concept. Next up is Anata mo Kyoto-kun, or You Too, Kyoto. This is another simple game where you're trying to see a woman naked. You mash button 1 to build up the meter, and hit button 2 to reveal the picture. The further up the bar goes, the more you take off of her. You can see her in lingerie, or if you go far enough up, you'll see her skeleton. Something you might have spotted here is that there is a brief flash before it reveals what you got, and in that picture, she's totally naked. That would make Ultrabox Premier Issue the first licensed console game with full frontal female nudity. So far, the most other games have been willing to do is just go topless. Ultrabox took things to the next level. Going in the weirdly opposite direction from this, the next game is UB64, and it's a peg-jumping game that continuously plays a bad rendition of the song Michael, Row Your Boat Ashore. The catch with this peg game is that you can only jump in a diagonal direction. Naturally, you have to jump over other pegs, and doing so removes them from the board. I'd like to tell you how many I could get it down to, but that song is so grating that I've never been able to finish this. And then the final game, and final feature, of Ultrabox is Toto Ego ga Dekitanada, or Can You Speak a Bit of English? It's a small little adventure game that presents a scenario where you meet an American woman on the streets of Tokyo, and then go on a little date with her. You have to pick out the best English phrases for the situation. And of course, screwing up can be pretty amusing. This first issue of Ultrabox is the biggest issue of Ultrabox. That was a full 14 options if we include the help menu. The next few issues will only have 12 features, and then it starts scaling down from there. It was difficult to find any Japanese players with something to say about Ultrabox. That's not a surprise, this kind of thing is pretty ephemeral. The few comments I found just acknowledged its existence. From my perspective, this first issue of Ultrabox is actually kind of interesting. Now, I don't think it's good, especially from a gameplay perspective, but it has 2 historic firsts, and is a very interesting time capsule of that moment. Just by leaning into that elaborate style, Ultrabox feels like nothing else. Ultrabox is something neat to encounter, even if I wouldn't go back to it. And that has me looking forward to the remaining issues.